Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to W.M.S.T podcast episode number 79. I am your host, Syed. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share the audio links. Here are our cast members for tonight. We've got Editor-in-Chief Ziggler. What up, Ziggler? And how was the fight?
Yeah, what up? Robert Whitaker just won, former champ. Gonna look like he's gonna face the champ soon to win his title back. So we'll see.
Yeah, Fight Island. And of course, as always, we have the Orange Cassidy of the group, the man himself. It's Cam. What up, Cam? Another week, another podcast. And this week, guys, it's a pretty packed episode. We're gonna be discussing a wide range of stuff from some wrestling to a lot of the San Diego and Justice Con stuff that's going on, and a lot of stuff that's happening in the sports world. So, without wasting any time, let's get right into part one of WMSC podcast.
Yeah, baseball is back.
Yay, baseball is back. For those who care, I mean, sports in general, it's like so dry. I literally had to tune in to watch baseball. I watch playoffs, but I had to watch a regular baseball game.
And the NBA is back.
Yep, we will be discussing that as well. Really excited for games to start in a few days. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to WMST Podcast Part 2, where we will be talking about a lot of the trailers that debuted this week from San Diego Comic-Con and Justice Con. But before we get to the trailers and all the goodness that was released this week, sadly, Tenet is not going to make its August 12th release date, and it has been moved indefinitely. So we will not be knowing the release date of Tenet for a while. So there goes my summer plans. I've been complaining on this podcast since they moved the movie, and it's frustrating for me because Warner Brothers is considering releasing the movie in other countries where theaters are already open, and USA just can't get their shits together, and and the cases here keep rising, so theaters are not able to open. And
Looking at you, Trump.
exactly, and it sucks, it sucks being here and not being able to see Tenet, and the fact that Europeans and Canadians will probably see it before us, it's frustrating. But good news for you guys. That means since Tenet isn't going to be releasing for a while, we will keep our promise and give you guys review for every single Christopher Nolan movie. So last week we started with Batman Begins, and this week we're going to talk about one of the greatest comic book movies of all time, the movie that transcended the genre and changed the industry, The Dark Knight, which was released exactly 12 years ago, believe it or not. 12 freaking years ago. I still can't believe 12 years ago I was watching this movie in IMAX. It's crazy to think about. The hype surrounding this movie was unreal. This movie had one of the best marketing campaigns of all time. I think the first image that ever came out for this movie was the "Why So Serious" written with Joker's hand, it was like a bloody painting or something like that. That image got people so hyped to see Heath Ledger, and unfortunately Heath Ledger passed away a few months before this movie was released. So there was a lot of intrigue as to how his portrayal was gonna be in this movie. As unfortunate as it was, his passing, it got people talking about the movie, about his role, because you know how internet is. Like when somebody is casted, somebody who doesn't come from serious roles, like Heath Ledger was known as somebody who played like kind of like teen drama roles and all that. He wasn't a very serious actor. So when he was casted as Joker, a lot of people clowned on him, and they were like, oh, he's not gonna be a good Joker. And through this marketing campaign, a lot of people were like really intrigued as to what his Joker would turn out to be in this movie. And okay, as for the movie itself, it it has one of the best, fastest openings to a movie. Like it just gets right into it. It's shot so beautifully with the wide angles, amazing cinematography. Christopher Nolan, the absolute goat. And we're introduced to the Joker. I'm pretty sure you guys will talk a lot about the Joker because he is the movie. Like he is what Thanos was to Infinity War is what this Heath Ledger's Joker is to The Dark Knight. Like he is the heart and the soul of this movie. He's absolutely chaotic. He's absolutely mesmerizing. He's so charismatic. This is one of the greatest villain performances of all time. So many great scenes, so many classic moments. The line delivery, the look, the feel, it's just amazing. Like it's Joker done right, and it's unfortunate he couldn't. I don't know if Heath Ledger ever saw the movie before his passing, but I kind of wish he did because this is one of the best performances ever, and he should have definitely seen it. And rightfully so, he won the Oscar for it. It's absolutely amazing. And as for the other parts of the movie, like I said, beautifully shot, great cinematography, action scenes are big and loud. One of my favorite scenes, obviously, is like there's a lot of there's so many classic scenes in this movie. The chase scene when they're chasing Joker in the streets of Gotham, aka Chicago. It's obviously Chicago. That was one of the coolest scenes. The truck flipping, Batman on the bike chasing Joker. It's so cool. And then you had Joker being interrogated by Batman. I've seen that scene over and over again. Like Heath Ledger's line delivery in that scene is just amazing. And I know a lot of people clown on Christian Bale's voice in this movie, but I think the way his Batman speaks is kind of bearable at parts because he's in the same room as Heath Ledger's Joker. So his performance is elevated by what Joker is doing. Absolutely amazing. And then you had, Harvey Dent in this movie, who I believe the actor's name is Eckhart. I forgot.
Aaron Eckhart.
Aaron. Eric or Aaron?
Aaron.
Oh, Aaron. Oh,
Aaron.
wow. It's
Eckhart.
Aaron.
Yeah.
That's
pretty sure it's Aaron.
I've never heard a guy with the name Aaron. Like it's always like a girl's name. Anyways, yeah, he was a great Harvey Dent / Two-Face in the movie. I was very impressed by his performance. He was probably the right casting for the movie. Although Two-Face, like we talked last week, like he wasn't there for much. What he did in the movie was good enough to he was a serviceable second villain in the movie. And a lot of people actually never mentioned this, but the character of Reese is actually an Easter egg for the Riddler. And a lot of people were kind of worried that the Riddler, Two-Face, Joker, that's like too many villains for one film. And here's the thing though, Nolan would never oversaturate his movies. Like he doesn't do that. And the way he balanced all the villains in this movie was absolutely perfect. final point about the movie, I think this movie is very unique because at times it doesn't feel like a superhero movie. It it very much changed the genre. Like if Batman Begins started the trend of superhero movies becoming serious, this movie laid the groundwork for superhero movies existing in our world and actually working. Nothing like, no crazy CGI, no this, that. It's simple, it's grounded, and it's one of the best takes on one of the best source materials in comic book history. Uh, y'all already know the ratings. I don't even need to mention it. It's a 10 out of 10. It's a perfect movie to me. It's so rewatchable. I can watch it like every single week. It's absolutely amazing. So let's get to your guys' review. Cam, what are your thoughts on The Dark Knight?
I remember seeing this movie when it first came out in the theaters. Like I remember my memories are so picturesque that I remember the theater that I was in. I remember what seat I sat in, and I remember many of the key scenes with Ledger's Joker. One moment, please. Sorry, my voice was starting to wear out a bit. Like, I remember a ton of the key scenes, like the interrogation scene, some of the chases, the truck flipping, which I think that's a fun fact. I think that's one of the first, I think that was like the first time that they did a stunt like that with a vehicle, just flipping a big rig like that. I remember the one of the more intense parts of the movie with the camera and where like, am I wrong in this where Joker has, who does he have when he has the camera and is like threatening Batman and Shield style? That's Commissioner Gordon, right?
Okay. I know the scene you're talking about.
Wait, what scene?
Remember on the news, he calls out the Batman and he's like, the Batman has to reveal himself.
Yeah. Oh, who
or
was he
else a
torturing
bomb.
in that video?
Yeah.
Oh, he was torturing. Remember in the beginning where those fake Batmans were fighting Scarecrow and those other guys, those other mafia guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of the fake Batmen.
Oh, he was torturing the
When he
fake
said,
Batman.
Oh,
like,
one
the
of
only
the
difference between you and me, I'm not wearing hockey pads, that guy.
Oh, that scene. Well, it's one of those scenes. Well, I remember that scene and many of the other scenes vaguely. Like, what else can be said about Ledger's performance as the Joker? For several years, not counting 1988's Jack Nicholson, Ledger's Joker was always the definitive Joker, the most iconic Joker, the most the most iconic Joker of the Joker of a generation, basically. Until the Joaquin Phoenix performance, this was arguably the best performance. It's a shame that the Ledger will never reap the awards or see all of the love and appreciation that he got from his performance, because his performance is one of the most important villain performances in cinema. It's the perfect antagonist performance. And I think we said last week that that Batman Begins is the Batman movie. This is the Joker movie, and Dark Knight Rises will be the Bane movie. That Batman doesn't really get that much screen time. Like, did we say that last week?
Yeah, that's exactly what we said last week.
Like, you have a point there, and that's pretty much what it is. Like, it's to the point where Bale gets overshadowed. We're overshadowed in what is, where the main character gets overshadowed by the antagonist. But outside of a few flaws, it's one of the most important and perfect movies to come out. One of the most perfect and the most important superhero movies of all time. If it wasn't for this movie coming out, we wouldn't get those serious and gritty and not really that comical not horror movie, comic book movies. Even if movies like The Incredible Hulk and Iron Man came out in the same time frame, this is what paved the way for a lot of those serious MCU and DC movies and a lot of other movies, for a lot of other comic book movies that follow in this movie's footsteps. Rating, like you already know the rating.
Yeah, sounds good. You already know the rating. And by the way, I thought Ziggler said Aaron. It was Aaron, like a double Aron Eckhart. So just making that clear. And
Unless
Ziggler,
it's like a different spelling. Unless you know like a different spelling. Like I have a cousin that's spelled
what is it?
Airyn.
A
I
I.
have a cousin spelled like that.
Wow, I've never
Versus
seen that spelling. That's funny. And Ziggler, your thoughts on The Dark Knight?
Yeah, there was a time that I did not like this movie, but I recently rewatched it a few times, and it's honestly great. Now, it's not perfect. It's not a perfect movie to me, but it's a really really good comic book film. It's a really great film, and a lot of that has to do with Heath Ledger. We talked about him so many times already, but Heath fucking Ledger, man, is quite possibly his greatest performance ever, and one of the greatest performances in cinema history. Um, just every scene with him, it just captivates you like no other scene in that movie. And him and Christian Bale had great chemistry together, on-screen chemistry together, and they just worked. Same with Christian Bale and Tom Hardy, and Christian Bale and Liam Neeson. Like the chemistry between them, they just work, and that's what makes the movie great. But now in this movie, like we talked about last week, that he gets overshadowed by the villain. And that's not to say anything bad about Christian Bale, because he's a great actor. He did a fine job with him, but I just think it's the writing, how it was written, that Joker was, I don't know, it may have been his performance too, because they like wrote like the Joker would be more important than Batman and Batman's film, and you just don't do that to Batman, and that's where I think that was their first mistake. And then they kind of, I liked Harvey Dent in this, but they still kind of wasted him, in my opinion. I get what they were trying to do with him. How Joker said that he took Gotham's White Knight and brought him down to their level. And madness, as you know, is all like gravity, all takes a little push. And I like that part, but I just still think they wasted him. He was Two-Face for like 5 minutes, and all he had was that one scene with Commissioner Gordon and his kid. And I don't know, like that was a good scene and all, and Batman killing him was great and all, but I don't know. I just feel like we kind of got screwed out of seeing Two-Face more. We only mainly saw Harvey Dent, which wasn't that interested in Harvey Dent. I was more interested in Two-Face. Two-Face is one of the best Batman villains of all time, but we barely got Two-Face. So yeah, that kind of sucked. But the good parts, there's a lot of good parts in this movie, mainly with the Joker. How the Joker probably, there's like two of my favorite scenes was the interrogation scene and was the final Joker and Batman scene where those two ships are about to, seeing which one of them were going to blow up, seeing which one was going to stoop down to Joker's level and blow the other one up to save themselves, and they couldn't do it, and Joker's like, can't rely on anyone these days, I'll have to do something yourself. And I don't know, just that whole scene with Batman too, being like, Gotham showing you that they're not as ugly as you are, and And I don't know, that whole scene was just again, they have such great chemistry together, and whenever they're on the same screen, whenever they're in the same shot, it's just magic. So what it really lacks on is Bruce Wayne. That the Bruce Wayne story, you did not care about Bruce Wayne at all during that, and you didn't really care a lot about Batman, and that really hurts it for me. That's what really hurts the whole movie, is you don't really care about Batman and Bruce Wayne. So I would give this probably an 8 out of 10, maybe 8.5, maybe.
Yeah, sounds good, man. Yeah, that's a great scene you mentioned. Just I think that's another thing Christopher Nolan did, like having these superheroes and the characters in the superhero movies face hard choices, because that's what life is. You got to make choices. There's no easy way out, and I think Nolan did that perfectly.
And I forgot to mention that last shot with Commissioner Gordon saying that last monologue was fucking awesome. And with that fucking score, oh my god.
Got you. But yeah, that score, that Hans Zimmer score, dude, Hans Zimmer is one of the goats of movie scores. His score for the entire trilogy is just absolute goosebumps.
Yeah, that Batman theme, dude, that gets me goosebumps every time. But yeah, seeing Heath Ledger as Joker is probably the best. It's hard to compare him with Joaquin because they're two completely different types of Jokers. So it's definitely hard to compare them both. But
yeah, man, one of the best Nolan movies of all time, and I can't wait to talk about more of his cinematography. One of the greatest directors of all time.
And Rises is like, I think it's the third best of the trilogy. Rises, definitely.
Oh yeah, for sure, definitely. Speaking of Christopher Nolan, I mean, I gotta give Christopher Nolan props for this as well. He's the man who, and I've said this on Twitter a while ago when I was talking with some hater, he's the man who hired Zack Snyder to lead the DCEU, because Warner Brothers wanted Superman movie to be led by Christopher Nolan. But Christopher Nolan didn't want to expand the world beyond. He didn't want to make a cinematic universe. So they tasked him with hiring the director who would do it. And Christopher freaking Nolan, the absolute genius, knew exactly the man for the job. It was Zack Snyder, and it was one of the best choices, as in my opinion, Zack Snyder has made two of the best comic book movies of all time. Others would disagree, but that is my opinion. And Christopher Nolan chose the best person for the job. And, here we are, 4 years after the initial release of that Frankenstein's monster of a movie that was Justice League, that was supposed to be culmination of the DCEU, turned out to be absolute freaking shit. And 4 years later, we're here. We're gonna get the actual version that we were promised all the way back in 2016, Zack Snyder's Justice League. And it was great. Since San Diego Comic-Con is going on, it was great seeing Justice Con, where it was an event presented by the fans for the fans. So it was a fan event that Zack Snyder attended, and it was everything for Zack Snyder, for the fans. There was no for San Diego Comic-Con, there's some it's very much controlled. Like, there's some agents and stuff controlling that San Diego Comic-Con, the questions are filtered and all that. But here it was all unfiltered. Everything was just fans this, fans that. It was all of this was for the fans, about the fans. It was great. So Zack Snyder had something a little to show. So Zack Snyder, first of all, before he showed us the clip that we were about to discuss. Zack Snyder confirmed a few things about his movie. He confirmed the fact that it may be longer than 4 hours. He said that we will find out the official trailer at the DC fandom August 28th. August 28th will also know if this will be a 6 episode miniseries or if the actual movie will be aired or released with the 4 hours complete as like a movie. And Zack Snyder said, he didn't confirm like if it was a miniseries or like a movie, but he said like, hey, look, even if it's a miniseries, you guys can just sit down and watch it in one sitting. So don't worry about it too much. But he said, it's a cool idea. Not his idea, but it's a cool idea. So he's not confirming if it's a miniseries. And one thing that was huge he confirmed was the fact that there will be absolutely zero footage used from Joss Whedon's version of the movie. Every single frame you will see in Zack Snyder's Justice League in 2021 on HBO Max, it will be his take. It'll be his shot. He's not going to use shots from other filmmakers who may have mangled with his cut. It will be everything Zack Snyder. It's going to be his version, the version we have been asking for the past 4 freaking years. So let's actually discuss what we saw. So the clip starts off, hopefully Ziggler is playing the clip on the screen. The clip starts off with Alfred. This was kind of the clip we saw back in, Ziggler mentioned before the podcast started, on San Diego Comic-Con in 2017, where Alfred's drink starts shaking and he sees somebody, and it turns out it is Superman he's talking to. And guess what, guys? That is Superman walking in his iconic black suit, and it looks absolutely amazing. As soon as that clip was released, that was the best teaser, one of the best teasers I've seen. The internet literally blew up. Hashtag JusticeCon was trending #1 on Twitter. It was out trending San Diego Comic Con, which is supposed to be the bigger deal, but the JusticeCon was way bigger. And 17,000 plus people were watching, live streaming it. And San Diego Comic Con had 200 to 500 people on one panel. Snyder Cut panel, Zack Snyder had 17,000 plus. So that just speaks volume. And people were clamoring for more footage. They were spamming in the comments like, show us more footage, show us more footage. They were going crazy. It was absolutely surreal. It was like sitting in a Comic-Con event and experiencing that. It was absolutely surreal. That suit looks amazing. I cannot wait to see more footage of this movie. So Ziggler, what were your thoughts on this clip and the panel overall?
Yeah, you said what the runtime should be around like 4 hours ish, 4 hours, something like that.
Yeah, so a lot of people believe
but it
that
might be a miniseries.
Yeah, so a lot of people thought it was going to be 214 minutes, but Zach said he's adding a lot of stuff, so it's going to be above 214.
All right, nice. I hope it's not a miniseries. I know Zach says like, you can just binge it all, but the extended edition of Lord of the Rings: Return of the King is 4 hours and 10 minutes. If they can do that, 4 hours and 10 minutes a movie and not break it up, you cannot break up the Snyder Cut. Then I mean, if you can do that, you can do this. I mean, just let it be a whole 4 hour movie. I'm game. I'm not gonna move from my seat the whole time. No bathroom breaks. I'm just gonna watch this shit like I'm in the theaters, and it's gonna be perfect. And I cannot wait for this. And the black suit, Jesus Christ, oh my God. We were talking about this earlier that we actually saw the first part in one of the trailers. I'm not sure which trailer it was, but we definitely saw that first part at the end of a trailer before the movie came out, and we all thought it was going to be Superman in the black suit, and that scene was not in the Whedon cuts, and we did not get a black suit in the Whedon cut, so I was majorly pissed off. But I guess it's official. We're getting a black suit Superman in the Snyder cut, and I honestly cannot wait for this movie. We have been hyping up this movie for years, and we got a teaser last month. We got a little bit of more of a teaser this month. Hopefully next month we're gonna get a real trailer, or the month after that. I just cannot wait. And when that official trailer drops for the Zack Snyder cut, that's gonna be fucking huge. I cannot wait. So yeah, that black suit is mad sexy too. So let's get it.
I know, dude. I think that, I mean, I've always seen like pictures of it, you know, but seeing Superman walk, like Henry Cavill walking with that black suit, like it looks so amazing. Like it's like, you know, like visually it's so pleasing. Like it's
Yeah.
I can confidently say like that's the best Superman suit I've ever seen in a movie. I don't care what you nerds say. Oh, but he's not wearing his trunks. Oh, he's not wearing his red and white, his red and blue, blah blah blah. I don't care, nerds. I'm the biggest
I
Superman
mean,
fan.
isn't
Yeah,
that kind of like what we saw in Man of Steel too? Like in the Fortress of Solitude, isn't that
yeah.
the suit
When
we saw?
yeah, that's the suit we saw. That's the
Yeah.
exact suit. And look, I
Dude,
don't care
those red trunks are kind of like out of date too. It's 2020. It wouldn't look right.
exactly. And
Zack
he's
Snyder said he tried it and it didn't look right.
exactly. And people want those in 2020, which is kind of
Yeah.
disgusting to be honest. That just tells you
Like
how
they did it with Batman too. It doesn't work. It does
yeah.
not work anymore. Those blue trunks for Batman and those red trunks for Superman. Nah.
Yeah. Uh, I think people just need to grow up. I think they need to grow out of the Christopher Reeves phase. Like that was 30
Yeah.
years ago, my band. Times have changed. Superman has changed. You need to move on.
So they want to get rid of the classic look,
I mean, they already did with Man of Steel.
or in
Yeah.
this case, modernize it like what the MCU does with their with what they do.
Yeah. So the black suit it has a significance. So basically, when he comes back from the dead, he's not himself yet. So he feels that he needs to earn the red and blue suit back. So he wears the black suit, which is the suit of his house, the House of L. So that's why he wears the black suit. He's not evil. You know, that's not the reason he wears the black suit. He wears the black suit because he doesn't feel worthy for the red and blue suit, which is his, you know, actual suit.
I like the idea for it. Like you said, it's not evil. That's why there's Bizarro Superman for a reason.
Right, exactly. Yeah, Ziggler, you were mentioning something. Sorry to cut you off.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like are people still mad about the red trunks?
The red trunks. You know who's mad about it? Like the select few who like to gatekeep everything Superman related.
I mean, that makes no sense too, because no one's complaining about Batman's blue trunks. Like he hasn't had those in years. Like nobody complained when Christian Bale did it. Didn't have it. Nobody complained when Ben Affleck didn't have it because it's just out of date.
Yeah, well, the thing is, Batman fans are more leaning towards new takes of Batman, but Superman. I'm not talking about the real Superman fan. I'm talking about the fake Superman fan who thinks Christopher Reeves was the most
Oh.
comic accurate Superman, even though he wasn't.
Well,
Those are the people who think.
his costume was.
Well, his costume was accurate,
Yeah.
and his character was accurate to his time.
Well, this
Not our time.
Superman is a more realistic take of Superman, Clark Kent.
Exactly. The
And
more
we're
people,
getting that more now with like more realistic takes of our superheroes nowadays in our movies.
yeah, like even the Russo brothers talked about how it's difficult to make a Superman movie. Zack Snyder was about to make 4 of these movies because every single Justice League movie he was doing, Superman was the main character. The story revolved around Superman.
Yeah.
So people need to stop complaining. And like you said, Batman fans don't complain about that because can you imagine, like, people were like, oh my god, Adam West is the best Batman, Ben Affleck is the worst. Like, it makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah. But Henry Cavill is definitely my favorite Superman now. He's definitely he
Yeah.
made me like Superman. Like, I didn't really like him that much, but then Man of Steel, I was like, holy shit, Superman's awesome.
Exactly. Like, I mean, I'm a huge Superman fan. Like,
Yeah.
my favorite superhero of all time is Superman, and Henry Cavill made me like the character. Zack Snyder and Henry Cavill made me love that character even more in movies.
I mean, I'm more of a Batman guy myself, but even Superman was dope as hell in the DCEU. So I mean, I never read like any of his comics. I just like kind of like seeing him like here and there in some Justice League comics, but I like him in DCEU. Zack Snyder did a good job with him, and people were just complaining for just to complain. It's annoying.
Yeah,
People will
but
bitch about anything nowadays.
that is true. But hey, us real fans, we're just enjoying the ride, and haters
Oh,
are just
yeah.
gonna keep hating.
Haters like the Joss Whedon cut.
Yeah, and hey, you know what's funny about Joss Whedon? You guys remember Ray Fisher talking about Joss Whedon?
Yeah.
He had his own panel at Justice Con, and he mentioned, like, he called out Joss Whedon, on the video. He was like,
Who,
hey,
Ray?
yeah, Ray Fisher. So he was like, hey, Joss. He was talking to Joss Whedon. He was like, hey, Joss, if you think anything I'm accusing you of is false and slander, sue me right now. And obviously he wouldn't, because everything Ray said is actually true. And Joss Whedon hasn't even come out and said that's absolutely false. That didn't happen. He didn't even say that. So
Well, yeah, it's hard to deny something that's like true.
Exactly, man.
And there were a lot of other than Ray. Like, after Ray said something, there were a lot more people who came out, right?
Right, exactly. There's so many people that accuse Joss Whedon of being
I mean,
the
I saw
absolute
something back
worst.
with the Buffy the Vampire Slayer. That's what I saw, like something like from back then.
Yeah, I know the people who worked on Buffy freaking hated him. You want to hear something before I end this video? It's a funny story. So, Joss Whedon, the man who completely ruined the original, the Justice League,
And
right?
Alien.
And Alien, right? Exactly. Guess what? He was supposed to have his own panel on San Diego Comic-Con. But guess what? Since everybody has been complaining and talking shit about him, he had to cancel his panel, okay? But guess what? That same weekend, which is this weekend, Zack Snyder, not even his own panel. Zack didn't have just a panel to himself. He had a whole con dedicated to him. Like, I feel like that is like true justice right there. Joss Whedon, his panel got canceled, and a whole con was dedicated to Zack Snyder. That's a boss move right there, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, Zack Snyder deserves it. Zack Snyder was so wronged by Warner Brothers and Joss Whedon. He deserves all of this right now. Everything that happened with him and with his daughter dying tragically, and how WB treated him after that was just so wrong. So he deserves all this.
Yeah, man. And they're one last thing. They're doing something really cool. They've released shirts that if you purchase the shirt, the money goes to AFSP, which is a suicide prevention organization. And Zack Snyder released a new shirt where it has a cool Justice League logo on the front, and on the back it says associate producer, and I think you can customize it to have your name on it. So Zack Snyder basically is saying that every single fan who supported the release of this movie, is an associate producer on this movie. So if you purchase that shirt, all the donations, all the proceeds will go to AFSP, Suicide Prevention Organization. So that's pretty cool.
Hey everyone, hope you enjoyed that video, and make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And click on the channel to check out some more awesome videos like our movie and wrestling debates and our interviews with people like the Wrestling Classic and Jordan Jomo from the IGWC. And we are definitely looking into delivering you all some more content in the near future, so definitely be on the lookout for that. And thank you for your support.